Hey guys, AJ here back on the line for you guys. It's Friday. It's Friday. What's going on? It's good to see all you guys, right? Yeah, guys. Hold on. Let me drop the link early first for anyone who's coming up, guys. This is the day shift. Do some daytime lives. You guys know how we do things, guys. We'll do the first like 10, 15 minutes in the chat for everyone, and then we will go members only. So, guys, make sure to hit the join button or hit the link in the description. Or call in, guys. You know what I'm saying? That's how things are going to be. Give me 1 second here. One moment, guys. Hold on. Just make sure this is right. Okay. There we go. So, yeah, guys. Let's do this first. Let's look at some news here because, guys, I'm going to cover the story of the guy that was like falsely accused of like trying to kidnap the little, like the little or girl or whatever. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Here we are. Hold on. That never gets old. So, guys, this story has been bouncing around the internet, right? You know, I haven't covered it yet, but guys, let's look at this really fast. So this guy's minding his own damn business, and I don't know what happened, but I think he like stopped to ask for directions, and some knuckleheaded Becky said that he was trying to kidnap her kid or whatever. I don't know, but here we go.
A man accused of trying to kidnap a child at a local Walmart is free on bond tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. For Fox 5 News at 4, I'm Christine Spiro. Mahendra Patel walked out of the Cobb County jail about a half hour ago. He's accused of trying to snatch a 2-year-old boy from his mother's arms at an Ackworth Walmart in March. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at the Cobb County jail with these newest developments, Deidre.
And Christine, Patel still faces some very serious charges. Still, he was quite relieved when he walked out of jail with his attorney this afternoon. He spent more than 6 weeks behind bars for a crime he insists he did not.
6 weeks. 6
ridiculous,
weeks, man. I'm suing everybody. I'm suing the cops. I'm suing the DA. I'm suing the woman who called the cops. I'm suing everybody. I'm getting my money straight up, man.
Not commit.
I feel great. There's a freedom that's called now.
Because I know that I'm going to get paid. Let's go. And guys, we all need to root for him. We all need to root for this guy. What are you saying, Matt?
It's funny.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid.
Yep. Guys, we'd all root for him, man. And I wish he had a GoFundMe for his lawyer fees, too. I donate to it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see him get paid. 2000 guy, what's up, man? Daniel, what's up, man? George, thanks for becoming a member, man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support, man. Appreciate that.
You know what's crazy?
Rockin' Diesel, how's it going, man? What are you saying, Matt?
It's nothing worse than being falsely accused. That happened to me before, too.
Yeah, here's the thing. Guys, these I can't think of any situation that a woman can be falsely accused in a way as a man. Now, back in the day, it used to be because there was so much shame and stigma where you can accuse a woman of being 304 because her reputation, because women's reputations mattered so much, right? Because they couldn't get married, so women wouldn't trust them in their social circles. So, guys, back in like 1910, 1920, if you accused a woman of things, that was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But now there's no shame, there's no stigma, there's none of that anymore. So there's no real way, unless someone can actually think. That's in the chat. Let think of some way that a man can falsely accuse a woman of
Yeah.
anything.
And that's called deflowering. Like she been deflowered.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Yes, that was another one. If a woman who was a virgin was accused of not being a virgin, that's a big deal. I mean, that was a slight to a family's honor. You know what I'm saying? Because then she probably couldn't get a suitable husband. The type of family that they could marry into to have a network would dwindle. Yeah, good one, man. Yeah.
if it came to like royalty, people would not let you to marry into the family.
Not just royalty though. I told you that I have friends that are Eritrean, Ethiopian guys. They don't play these games. If you are a respectable family, you cannot marry down into some trash fam. These are regular, everyday, working people. You know what I'm saying? So it plays out obviously into royalty, but in the third world, if you are a family of ill repute, you know what I'm saying? So
Finally, I'm out.
Mahendra Patel spoke to reporters as he left jail Tuesday afternoon. The 57-year-old man was released just a few hours after a judge granted him bond in a case that has captured national attention.
No, I cannot even dream about somebody alleging me for doing this kind of thing. Forget about me dreaming to do this. So it was a shocker.
This is store surveillance video of Patel's interaction with accuser Caroline Miller in an Ackworth Walmart in March that led to his arrest and a 6-week stint in the Cobb County Jail on a charge of attempted kidnapping. Police arrested Patel after the mother of two told authorities he tried to grab her 2-year-old son from her arms. Patel insists he's innocent and was simply trying to help Miller, who he reportedly assumed was handicapped because she was riding with the children on a motorized scooter when the incident happened.
see, there you go, guys. And this is why you don't stop and help these 304s. I told you guys. I told you. Guys, men minding their own business, guys. I have merch. That's my term. Men minding their own business. MMTOB, man. Mind your own business. Guys, this is not a game. You guys think I'm up here BSing, right? Guys, if he just kept walking through the Wally world, he wouldn't have had to deal with this. But no, he had to be the nice guy. Hold on. He had to be the nice guy. He had to.
Here I come to save the day.
And look what happened. What are you saying?
I was saying, like, the guy that made the single mom song,
Yeah.
I think recently, like,
Yeah.
I've seen a couple fighting, and he was holding the child, and he was recording them, and some random guy pull out a gun.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That guy, that Brandon Jamal guy, he needs to get out of Chicago. Why would you live anywhere where you know that people just randomly have a strap? You know what I'm saying? This young nugs with guns. First of all, he shouldn't have pulled over. Strike one. Strike two, he has the means to move somewhere safer. He hasn't done it. Right? And then he's recording this and he hasn't even moved or done anything yet. So at this point, if there was a public action where this happened and that Brandon Jamal guy he gets got, sorry, guys, he made his own bed, you know?
And you know what's crazy, though? I went to deliver to Chicago, and when I realized I was in Chicago, I hurried up and filled up my gas and left. I'm not just in a dangerous area. I don't got time for a programmed black man to see me and say, yo, you know what? He's black. I want to kill him for no reason.
Yep. Rob him. Yep. All types of. And then this is why, guys, I can't live anywhere where the majority of people look like me. I can't do it. Guys, if like Mac, myself, Damon Dennis Jimenez, Rock and Diesel, if we're going to go to the bar and we're walking around downtown, so we walk into a bar and the majority of people look like me, nope, we're turning around. Nope.
And you know what's crazy? My best friend, he doesn't like to live around black people at all. He's black. He say if he hears black people talking, he goes he gonna call the police.
That's how I am, because I've been black for 44 years. And when I bought my house, I made sure to drive around multiple times during the day in this neighborhood. I made sure that there was no loud music, that there was no nug sitting on the front porch at 11 a.m. Wearing wife beaters, that there was no freaking 2002 Impalas or like an 84 Malibu or a Brougham on 24s. It's not happening. It's not.
And you know what?
If there's one thing white people are, it's predictable. Guys, you want your life to be predictable. And I know people, these are white people. Guys, put a 1 if you've had white neighbors where you can literally clock their routine. They get up, they get their kids ready for school. Dad leaves at like 7, mom leaves at 8, drops the kids off at the bus stop, and then mom comes home at 2, lets the dog out, whatever, picks the kids up. Dad comes home at 5. Saturday, dad gets up at 9, mows the lawn. Yeah, they're predictable. Life being predictable is not a bad thing.
And you know what makes it funny too? You don't even know they exist.
Yeah. Yep. You go to like a white dive bar. At some point, friggin', I got friends in low places. It's going to come on there. Or Sweet Caroline. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to come on the radio. That's it. They're going to play some darts, shoot some pool, play some bocce ball. That's it. You go to a predominantly black bar or club with Nug and Keisha. At some point, someone's going to start beefing, and then all of a sudden, and bullets are going to start flying. Over what? People are going to start doing donuts in the parking lot? Nah, man. I don't think so.
Yo, that's why I don't go to clubs.
Red Door, what's up, man? He said that her son-in-law is black and doesn't like living around black people. Yeah. Guys. Telling you, Vibing, what's up, dude? Yeah, guys. So Vibing lives in the woods. Red Door lives in the woods. I think Snowboard lives in the woods. We got Steve M lives in the woods. We got a lot of people who like being left the hell alone, man. Straight up. Right on, man. Right on. Yeah. So,
the hood.
Yeah, so guys, we'll check this out. But then, guys, we're going to talk about loneliness, right? Because, guys, I have a couple of viewpoints on this loneliness epidemic, right? Because I just want to start with the fact that, guys, men have always been alone and are always going to be okay with being alone, right? But, guys, there's multiple factors to this year. But, guys, why is it that they say that there's a loneliness epidemic, but then the moment that a man says, I don't want to be around these broads, I just want to be left alone, all of a sudden it's, how dare you, right? Guys, one of the toxic masculinity behaviors that they say, quote unquote, is men living alone. So wait a minute, is there a loneliness epidemic? Like what's going on here? Or is being alone toxically masculine? Like what's going on? So you can't want to be alone. You have to whine and be a beta and cry about being alone. Clown world. No one cares says he can't stand crowds. Being alone is a requirement. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Lenny, what's up, dude? Tara, how's it going?
I don't know if anybody that watched that video can reasonably say that that was attempted kidnapping. I think maybe it was a misunderstanding at best.
More than 300 people turned out in support of Patel, some traveling from India.
That's a lot of doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, they're gonna make some money. They're happy. They're gonna make some money.
I guarantee, homeboy is probably like a doctor, anyways. But you know that he's gonna get his cousin Inderjeet, who's like one of the best lawyers in India, that knows how to practice in like 7 languages. Yo, they are cooked.
They came in.
He's getting paid.
The alleged incident is happening now. Here's the other view of it, flipping back so you can see both views. That's the alleged incident right there.
Both the prosecution and defense played the surveillance.
And of course, guys, I have no respect for any of these knuckleheaded guys. First of all, we all know that it was a white woman, right? And these white chicks that are in these friggin' carts because they're so lazy or they're so out of shape or they're so overweight that they can't walk. So, guys, some white trash, trailer trash, Tammy had the nerve, right? And, guys, this is why you just avoid them. Avoid them.
Video in court, defense attorney Ashley Merchant said it proved Patel was not trying to take the child.
When you zoom in on it, you can actually see defendants grabbing this 2-year-old child.
But prosecutor Jesse Evans told the court Patel could be seen in the video trying to wrestle the boy from his mother.
Please!
After weighing both sides, the judge ordered Patel be released on $10,000 bond.
You got to take it one day at a time. A lot of ups and downs in the days, but I knew we had a team outside helping me. So one day we'll see the light out, and then we see it today.
And his attorney did say this afternoon outside the courtroom that she will work to see that these charges are dismissed. We'll fight for that.
Yeah, and then
in addition to attempted kidnapping charges, Patel also faces battery charges and also faces aggravated assault charges. And
look at that, guys. Look at that. Absolute clown world. Absolutely insane, man. Look at that. Oh, guys, hold on. Here we go. Guys, okay, look at this.
A Florida father is going viral after showing just how costly a day trip to Disney World has become.
Before we even got into the park, it cost me $30 just for parking.
Guys, he spent $1,400 on a trip to Disney World. Guys, come on. That's this guy's fault. I don't care, man. I don't care. Come on, man. What are you talking about?
Do it for the kids.
$1,400? You don't have to. I grew up poor. We didn't go to Disney World. $1,400.
Well, the church took me.
Look at this. Why are you complaining? You chose to do this. Yeah, if you keep paying it, they will keep charging fast. Boycott Disney World and see how far down the prices go. And then gonna cry and moan.
You know what's worse? That food is so expensive and you don't get good food.
Yeah, you can't even go to movies anymore. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
The state's not
hearing. The arguments at the hearing, I want to bring in George.
On earth they indicted this case, but
here you go.
We're seeing so far. Friends who flew in from India.
Okay,
just
so this is a lawyer who's an expert.
So to talk about this case and the arguments at the hearing, I want to bring in Georgia criminal defense attorney Meg Strickler. Meg, thanks so much for coming here on Sidebar. It's good to see you. This case has garnered a lot of attention. What are your initial thoughts on what we're seeing so far?
I'm glad it's showing how the criminal justice system works, and sometimes that there's a rush to judgment and the impact it has on human beings. Normally, when you have a charge like kidnapping, rape, murder, they are such grave charges. But most of the cases that I have, thank goodness, the detectives take the time to investigate the case, interview the person who has been alleged to have done that information, or at least reach out to them, and then issue an arrest warrant, which did not happen here.
Look at that.
Blows my mind.
So why do you think, because I interviewed Ashley Merchant here on Sidebar, and she basically was like, if you look at the footage, there's no episode of alleged kidnapping. What is the disconnect here? Why would law enforcement say that there was? And I know when I spoke with Ashley, they had made the argument that maybe that footage had been tainted in a way, spliced in a way, edited in a way. But to present this to a grand jury and get back an indictment, they must feel there's something here. I don't know what the disconnect is.
Because there's some broad, right, trying to say this happened, and they can't not follow through, right? because we live in a gynocratic, misandrist, man-hating society. Lenny gifted out the memberships, man. Appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate that. Thanks so much. Rajai, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. And then we have Paul Sargent. What's up, dude? Okay, so watch like 2 minutes of this, and then we'll talk about loneliness, guys. So, guys, I did drop the StreamYard link, so guys, hit the button to call in.
Well, remember, I'm born and bred criminal defense attorney, so I don't know how on earth they indicted this case. But we learned in law school you could indict a ham sandwich, so it's easy to secure an arrest warrant. I don't think the general public needs to know that because it would scare all of us. And I've been hearing comments about how we'll never help.
Of course, this is a knucklehead who accused him. Of course, right, guys? Right? Is this not the face of a person who you know would try and get you put in jail? Come on, man.
Anyone in need ever again, so that we don't interact to get into our situations like poor Mr. Patel here. I don't want that. I want us to live a moral life and help others. So this one is a very jarring case for me because he was just helping.
Mm-hmm. By the way, totally off topic, but another serious issue happening right now. Can we talk for a second about debt? Yeah.
With an arm's reach. Nothing. Nobody screened bond and probable. So he was arrested on March
/side. Argue for release. Take a look.
Judge, we are here because the state has accused Mahendra Patel, and he goes by Mick, but Mick Patel of, at first it was kidnapping, and then it moved to attempted kidnapping. So he was arrested on March 21st of 2025 for an incident that allegedly happened at a local Walmart on March 18th. The officer took out a warrant for kidnapping, not attempted, assault, and battery. Subsequently, the state indicted that case on April 3rd. We had a bond and probable cause hearing scheduled for April 16th. But when the state indicted it, they indicted it for attempted kidnapping and then misdemeanor assault and misdemeanor bond. So we were not able to have that bond hearing. Mr. Patel was not given bond at first appearance. At that time, he was charged with kidnapping of a minor.
Okay, so a little bit of like procedure.
So yeah, guys. So yeah, we'll have to talk about this case more, right? But yeah, guys, don't stop to help anyone. Don't do any of that, right? Don't do it, because you will get cooked. You know? Oh no, man.
True.
Hold on. Let's see. One thing I was gonna show you guys with Reddit. Hold on. Let me pull up my bookmarks here. Hold on. Oops. Yeah, guys. So, okay. There's a couple ways to tackle this whole loneliness thing, guys. I don't think that this male loneliness thing is an actual thing like they say it. They say it is, right? I think that it's a way to scapegoat men and then try and be like, oh, this, and further blame all the bad behavior on all of us. That's all it is, right? Hold on. And also, guys, like this, it's also a way to like justify the whole incels thing and then assign the whole incel label to all the rest of us, right? Hold on. Hold on. It was like Reddit. Because you look at these feminists, right? And they're trying to, some of them say that it's not real and that the fact that we would even say this is narcissism because we don't have any problems, right? So here, let's look at all the angles. Oh, guys, here, look at this.
Men are facing a big crisis right now. And whether we like to admit it or not, society has created millions of lonely and addicted men. There's a lot of discussion on the internet about male loneliness and how it is at an all-time high, with millions of opinions about it. So, what is causing this crisis to happen? If you identify as male, this video might give you some insights. As we make our way through this video, even if you don't identify as male, consider your father, brother, partner, and friends. If you've ever...
Now, guys, did you hear that? Guys, this person in the comments here put it perfect. Hold on. Says, so the fact that this video has to have a disclaimer to not trigger those people about a problem with men and not bashing us is honest to God just incredible. This video is proof that we're never getting anywhere with this issue. So guys, just from the jump shows that no one cares about us men. Even if we do have a legitimate problem, we have to consider people's feelings before we even have a conversation about it. Absolutely insane. Look at that. Absolutely insane. Rajai says the difference between loneliness and being alone physically, and you can be surrounded by people. Yeah, guys, men have always been alone. Always. Guys, there are guys living out in the woods. There's homeless veterans, right? There are just guys who just like being left the hell alone. What I think is happening is that they don't want men to understand that we don't need women, right? Like I said, they don't want men to en masse stop answering the call and stop being emotional and economic pack mules, right? They want to stigmatize men that like being alone or that are on the way to understanding that being alone for a lot of men is the best way to be. Because guys, if you enjoy being alone, it gives you choice. If you say, well, I'm not with some broad, so I'm just going to hang out with myself, and that's the more attractive option, then they have to pitch to you being alone should be the default setting. Someone should have to do a sales pitch to you to why you should choose not being alone over being alone. Yes, Clayton, they're projecting. Yes, because guys, look, this is an NPR thing here. This just came out. So the men's loneliness epidemic might not exist. Look at that. Well, I thought there was a big men's loneliness epidemic with all these incels and everyone's watching Andrew Tate, right? Please.
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
Mysterious, what's going on? Clayton's here. What's up, man? Russell, he says that he's 55. He's still a virgin. Yeah, let's see. JD, what's up, man? Yeah, he says this is the highest point in time of worthless chicks. And guys, women are as lonely as men. But guys, the only reason why they're even talking about the loneliness epidemic, guys, there's so many different factors here, right? They're trying to destigmatize, they're trying to stigmatize men who like being alone so they can have a scapegoat and so that men decide, still are shamed into dealing with society. But at the same time, the only reason why they're having this loneliness conversation in the first place is because women are lonely. Guys, nothing ever becomes a problem until it affects chicks. There's multiple things that affect men and women that have affected men much more, but it affects women more. And now all of a sudden it's a conversation. No one cares. Yes, they say that they know men being alone is less money for corporations because women do it the way. These are facts. Yep. Mike says he makes art. Yeah, guys, put in the chat what your hobbies are, right, guys? Men have hobbies or hobbies that involve being alone. Guys, how many of you guys have spent the whole afternoon just fishing, not talking to anyone, sitting on the dock fishing? How is that being alone? And then trying to say being alone is toxic masculinity. Please. So guys, we will go members only in the chat. So guys, either call in or hit the join button with a link in the description. Yeah, guys. Make sure to hit the like button, guys. Yeah, TJ says video games, scale models, RC cars. Damon Dennis says we're working out. Yeah, look at that, guys. Razor's has a plastic model kit addiction, guys. I think we need to have intervention.
Yo.
What were you saying, Mac?
The way I deal with it a little bit is just talking to myself or think about movies ideas and TV shows. That's really fun.
Yeah, but guys, here's the thing about it. It's like, Walk, what's up, man?
What up, AJ?
Hey, guys, do you think it's true that, everything in society is gynocentric, meaning like boys are falling behind in school because they think that the default way to learn is the way women learn. They say men don't have communication skills because they think that the default way to communicate is the way women, and then they think men don't have friends because they think that the default way to have friends is how women have friends. When you know damn well that us guys, we have much better friendships than women.
Yeah, we have actual friendship. They have pretend friendships, you know.
Yep.
And the entire the entire U.S. Well, as far as the U.S. goes, our education system is modeled after the way women learn.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, they did a study where they found out that when the boys and the girls didn't put their names on the tests and they handed their papers in, the grades were about the same. So not only do you have an educational system modeled after the way women learn, the teachers are also biased towards women.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then also, if you take recess out of schools, and then you do
but that's why when you have once you get to college, you see the men start to excel in STEM, whereas women, they'll start off in STEM by year 2, they're done. They're tapped out.
True. Yep. And then they'll be like, it's because of all the mean men. All the mean men who didn't want me to be
back.
Who didn't want me to be engineers, please.
You've been had. I actually got told that the other day.
You've been hoodwinked.
Another thing too.
Led astray. Run on muck.
What are you saying?
I got told that the other day by a woman. She said the reason why women are becoming lawyers and women are becoming scientists and engineers is because men won't let us be great. I said, dummy. There are more women in college than men. So how are we possibly holding you back from being engineers when we're not even there to prevent you from being engineers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. But you guys remember this, right? You guys remember this, right?
Cool.
Did you guys see this clip? So this women in tech conference, and they just gave this whole talk about the patriarchy and how women need to be there and women are being held back and girl power and all this cool la 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 all this.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
And this Russian chick is gonna be like, these women are lazy and they cannot cook and they're lazy and stupid. Let's go.
Who's cooking them?
I'd like to start with a short introduction about myself. I'm a woman in IT.
You guys, watch this guy's face right here, okay?
I'm a CEO of a quite profitable IT company. I'm a mother as well, so you would say I went through quite a lot in the IT industry. So I have the experience and authority to talk about this topic. Now, what I want to say is that the whole talk about women in IT is usually a bad thing for us. Because basically what it says is, well, it's okay to have lower income. It's okay to do worse than boys in the IT industry because, well, there's a world conspiracy against you. You know, people hate you, that's why. So that's why I'm against the whole talk. Also, I did some recruiting because I have a company. And also I went to a school that had like 8 girls and 100 boys. So, you know, I'm quite used to being around a lot of boys. The whole thing is, girls are usually quite lazy. They're just not that.
It's so true.
When she gets done, I tell you,
Guys,
I got a story I want to
guys,
tell.
hold on. Look at this guy's face. This guy. Yo, hold on.
They're just not that good programmers. Sorry, but that's true, honestly. They just don't want to get their hands dirty to do the job. And when I tried to do some recruiting, I intentionally wanted to recruit women. And at the end, I failed to do so. Do you want to know why? Because most of those girls were usually just cheating, and they were just not good programmers.
And this guy's laughing because he knows she's right. He knows she's right, guys. You know what I'm saying?
And I had to recruit boys. And that's why I think the whole talk about let's recruit more women is bad, because at the end, you're recruiting worse programmers. At the end, your company is going to suffer.
There you go.
You're going to lose some money.
There you go.
I know it's trendy to talk about women in IT.
Look at them. They can't believe it.
They don't know what to say. They don't know what to say.
Hey, homegirl's got some cakes, though. You know what I'm
She
saying?
yeah. She can get
I was looking at that too.
Yeah. How you
Looks like a
doing?
black woman.
Well, I was gonna say, well, guys, it's true. All of us on this panel are black. Just in case you guys didn't know, right, guys?
The thickness.
They can suck start a leaf blower.
David Dennis, man, thanks for becoming a member, bro. I appreciate that. Thanks so much for that, my friend.
Yeah.
In IT, but I think women should just start studying more and getting the job done. And I honestly don't see girls staying up until late at their office and working that often. No,
true.
It's usually the boys staying there. Why? I don't know. So that's what I want to say. I think the whole lecture should be removed, and I think it's just bullshit.
Okay.
Yo. And that's why Russians, Romanians, any type of Eastern European, they will tell you the direct truth. You know what I'm saying? You ask them their opinion, and they shoot straight. Oh, what are you saying, Matt?
You know how you go to work, and especially at a warehouse, and you don't, all the men are working, right? And the female, they be on their phone walking around the warehouse. They get fired the most. It's just like companies are just suffering because they have to hire girls, but they get fired. And another thing I want to add, this female, she went out of her way to make a movie studio, right? Just nothing female employees. And it was just horrible. They almost made her bankrupt. So she started hiring males and she changed her mind.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So yeah, you know, guys, any type of production-based anything, men exceed and women fail. Guys, we're talking about lawyers, for instance. Guys, how is Mac gonna have a law firm where all the lawyers work 75 hours a week, and then Walk's gonna try and start one where he has 40% chicks, and then they only have to work 40 hours a week. So he has 40% of his staff working 35 hours a week less. He's gonna cave. He's gonna crumble because they have to work. You have to get those billable hours, and you have to get those cases done. Emoji Mister, what's up, dude? Hell yeah, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, guys. So back to the loneliness thing, right? Now, guys. Yeah, guys, we have to start from the assumption that men being alone is bad in the first place, okay? And it's not. And I honestly believe that society tells men that being alone is some toxic trait now. It's some toxic masculinity type BS, right?
Hey, AJ.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, I had to go fix something. I'm at work. But before you go on, can I tell you a story about what I used to work with? So I work in tech, right? I work in the tech industry. And I used to work with this woman, and it was the running joke was, what did she break yesterday that we're gonna have to fix today? You know, because whenever she was supposed to go fix something, she would always end up breaking it, and she never could figure it out by the end of the day. So she would take the next day off.
Yeah.
And wait for one of us to fix it. And then she would come in like the following day and be like, so what'd you do to fix it? So one time she broke, it was a server, right? And she deleted a file out of it and screwed the server up so bad that I was like, you know what? I'm not fixing it. So I said, it's gonna be there for her tomorrow when she comes back in. Because true to form, she took the next day off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a Wednesday. So she took that Thursday off. So she comes in on Friday, thinking that she's just gonna have an easy Friday, not do anything. So she comes in, she goes, so what'd you do to fix that server? I said, nothing, it's still waiting up there for you to fix it.
Look at that! Look at that!
I've never seen someone get so pissed off in my life.
Look at that. Look at that. Call in. What's up, dude?
Oh, not much. How you guys doing, man?
Good.
Good.
Guys, there's multiple angles here. First of all, I don't think this men's loneliness epidemic is an actual thing, right? I don't believe it, right? I think that there's men out there that you have young men that they poll that like oftentimes they might not know how to make friends, but then also they react like women and cry about it.
Okay, so here's the deal. They say we're the loneliness epidemic in men, right? So you would think that if men were so lonely, we'd be eager to show up to all these dating events, right?
Yes.
But they can't get us to show up.
But
men are happy being alone.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though. They stigmatize things that they don't want men to do. They don't want men to mind their own business. Guys, they call men isolating, right? Toxic masculinity. They call MGTOW a hate group, right? So wait a minute. How can you say that there's a loneliness epidemic and like men are this and that if you're trying to say that any ideology that involves us separating ourselves is bad, and then to even have the conversation itself is toxic, to where that video that I showed you guys, they had a disclaimer, right? Guys, stoicism has always been a thing with men. It's always been applauded by men. Why do you think that some of the first motion pictures were John Wayne and all these, hey there, partner, or the lone samurai out there?
Or the old Clint Eastwood movies,
yes,
you know?
Guys, the stoic loner guy, guys, there's a reason why so many men admire that. It's because oftentimes, guys, we live in a society where, guys, a lot of us men didn't have the option to be alone, right? Because we had to keep the community going. And there were societal pressures and norms to get married, have kids, all these things. But now guys have the option to choose being alone more than ever. Yeah. So what do they have to do, guys? What's the response? They have to villainize that. They have to villainize it so that men are stupid enough to remain pack mules for these knuckleheaded 304s, these LDHTTs, and all these morons who rely on us, but then talk crap to us at the same time.
Yeah, and they're kind of defining loneliness as lack of simping.
Yeah,
in a way.
You know, one of the big things that it really boils down to, I think it might actually be the main thing, is that women cannot stand the fact when a man is in a happy, quiet, peaceful place. They cannot stand it.
Well, I would say happy, period. Women can't stand when men are happy, period, let alone are happy without them. Because this is why you see, guys, put a 1 in the chat, and guys, let's take like 5 minutes. I want you to tell me of a story of when you were with some chick and you had a hobby or something, and she was pissed about it. Pissed. Whether football, baseball, video games, right? Just the fact that it made you happy, she couldn't stand it. She was mad at the fact that you loved your car, right? That maybe you had a old muscle car, or you had a car period that you liked, or your truck. She was jealous of a thing, not a person, a thing.
Yeah.
Chicks get jealous of your dog. You have a dog. You have your Rottweiler. Freaking Rover's been with you through thick and thin. She's mad at a dog. Dude, they're demons. They're demons, man. They're absolute fucking demons, man. God.
The weirdest thing a female ever told me, if we ever had a child and it's a girl, she's going to be jealous. I'm like, what the hell?
What?
Yes.
Dude, that's, man. Mac, where you meeting these chicks, dude? Yo, dog. We need to have an intervention on you, dude, because you cannot be dealing with this foolishness, man. Straight up. Like, come on, man.
I gotta admit, I have some exes that told me some pretty weird things too. You know, one she actually had a firearm, right? You know, pew pew. It was a 38 snub nose. And one day, I don't know what I did to piss her off, but she said, "You keep pissing me off, and I'm gonna go get my gun." I said, "Look, we both know you have anxiety. You take like Zoloft or something, right, for your anxiety." I'm like, "You're too nervous to even load it. The safest place with you with a gun in your hand is right in front of you, because you'd be too scared to pull the trigger." I said, "But if you want to prove me wrong, go get it. It's right there in the closet. I'm not stopping you." And I just sat there and watched the History Channel and ignored her.
Dude, if I'd have left. So
I would have left
that a chick, first of all, a chick that's on that's on head meds with a gun, I'm not putting up with it. Nope.
You're lucky to be alive.
Yeah. I tell you guys, nope. This stuff that a lot of guys, especially like, Gen X, boomer men, older millennials, that we were taught to put up with, not having it. So let me see. But yeah, guys, I had an ex back in the day that couldn't stand that I was into cars, right? So we would, I was part of the whole, so I just got rid of my M3 and got a brand new bug-eyed WX when they first came out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we were part of the whole Subaru community as it blew up. You know what I'm saying? So we would go on like drives and meets and have barbecues, and she just couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. Whining, moaning, complaining. You know what I mean? It's like, why? It's a car. It doesn't make any sense. So
this is weird.
Because they don't know how to make themselves happy. That's all it is.
Thank you. Yep.
That same ex, she was mad because she actually did not like me watching the History Channel, sitting there in peace, just watching the History Channel, eating popcorn.
Look at Was this a B-dub?
Of course it was a B-dub.
Guys,
of course it was a
B-dub. I stay away from B-dubs, guys.
That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
I don't date him, guys. No. I'm allergic.
That was the last one I dated. And if she didn't have such large milk factories, I would not have been dating her.
Feeders. Yeah, guys, here's the thing. You know what the funniest part is? AJ, why you always talking bad about black women? Isn't your mom black? You know what? To hell with her too. My mom made my life miserable. My sister too. You know what? Yeah, I'm telling you guys, Thanos snap.
Yeah.
99.96 American B-dubs away. And the world would be a much better place. I will stand 10 toes down. I bet you wouldn't say that to nobody. I've said that to some B-dub's face. Matter of fact, my nephew's girlfriend, who's half Vietnamese and half black, she tried to get all mad when I said that. Because I was like, there was something that I saw on my phone. And I was saying that. And she was all like, I can't believe your uncle said that to my nephew. I was like, I'll say it to her face. I will say it directly to her. You can go too. So
yeah, they always threaten to tell. I'm going to tell your sister. Or like I have them all the time. Did your sister know you think like that? I'm like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, what's she gonna do?
She'll be the first ass I beat.
Yeah.
I feel like my black woman.
Well,
all right. Carlos said the last relationship that he was in, lady got mad at him of reading some hardboiled crime fiction, not helping her with her computer science degree. I understood less than her, and that was the last straw. Look at that, guys. Yikes. Now, guys, here we Snowboard, you
yeah, kind of with the B-dub thing, like respect is earned, but so is disrespect. So
Yeah.
if they're gonna act like how they're acting, then you're gonna say what you just said because that's based off your experience of it. It's not prejudice or anything at all.
Yep. Now, guys, this is 15 reasons why men. It says older men, but usually men want to live alone. And guys, it says older men because younger men are influenced by societal pressures more than older men. By the time that you're Colin's age, Walk's age, and my age, you just don't give a damn anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Guys, I don't care. You can't shame me. And guys, everyone in this chat who's listening, guys, we have 80 people watching. We have 40 likes, guys. Please hit the like button. If anyone wants to call in, guys, hit the StreamYard. Guys, hit the join button for memberships and the super chat buttons there. Guys, thanks for all you guys who doing it on the Cash App. Guys, make sure you are subbed, guys, because I am trying to hit 15K, right? So, guys, make sure you are subbed. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. So this should be the reason why all men choose to live solo. Because, guys, once again, one of the major parts about becoming a man is appreciating your time alone, right? And setting your default mode to being alone.
Yeah.
Because, guys, once again, it's not a bad... Okay, I get why young boys are conditioned to want to be with a person because it helps with society for making children and stuff. Most young boys, I think all of us at this point, when we were younger, were like, we wanted to get married, play catch with our son. You know what I'm saying? Like, watch your son's football game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a noble thing. It's just women have made it so that we can't realize that dream anymore, right? Most men, even the most curmudgeon or the most hardened, say, we've learned to go away from that based on practicality. But ultimately, most men, when they're 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, envision their life saying, look, I'm going to meet a cool chick. You know what I'm saying? She got to be a feminine woman. I'm going to be a husband to a wife. I'm going to, have my kids. I'm going to, put the slip and slide in the yard. You know what I'm saying?
I'll state a very unpopular opinion, and it's probably going to rub a lot the wrong way, but I think if the laws in society were to change to where men had nothing to lose from getting divorced, and society wasn't so misandrous, and women were actually humble, men would still be out here marrying single mothers.
I think it would. Okay, what would need to help happen is the re-stigmatization of single moms, because Mac and I had just talked about earlier about false accusations. What type of accusation could a man do to a woman falsely that can equal anything to a man? In modern times, nothing. But back in the day, if you claimed that a young woman wasn't a virgin, if you falsely accused her of that could ruin her whole life and ruin her family's life, because then she couldn't find a reputable husband, right?
Even one that would hit home with you, AJ. So you and I both black, both Gen X. Remember, back in the 90s, the worst thing you could accuse a B-dub of was
304.
Was sucking D.
Yeah.
They said that was something that was only reserved for white girls.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
what?
But
yeah.
Oh my
God!
They
now
would
the
not do
script is flipped.
They would not do it. But now it's like they're proud of it.
Yep. Or if you were to, but even in the 80s and the 90s, if you called a girl a 304, if she was accused of being, she was cooked.
She was cooked. She did not want that reputation. B-dubs it's amazing how they did not want that reputation back then.
Yep. So now, because there's no shame, there's nothing that a woman can be accused of because they embrace all the negativity anyways. They embrace it, and what comes with, guys, it's so crazy. There was a chick on Instagram, and she's a nasty, knuckleheaded, overweight OF chick, right?
You tell her she's a goddamn whore.
And she was saying that she didn't understand that there's people, these girls on TikTok that are on 304 TikTok that aren't actual 304s. They do it for the attention. They do it for followers. And she goes, that's crazy. So here's the thing that these girls don't understand. You don't even have to be one. But if you are one, if you come off as one, you're cooked. Guys don't want to deal with girls who are 304s or guys who act like 304s. You can be a woman with a body count of 1 or 2, act like a 304, and no dude's going to want to take you seriously.
Yeah, but the sisterhood will embrace them. It's just like light-skinned chicks that wear wigs and weave. And I'm like, I ask them all the time, like, why are you doing that? But they do that so that dark-skinned women will be their friends and won't reject them.
Yeah,
they don't need to wear the wig or the weave because their hair naturally looks like that wig or the weave.
How about this? So the white girl version of that.
Oh God, not her. No.
And they're still even if they're not physically doing the 304ing, their mindset is still that of a 304 where I need all this attention. I need to be fed this attention 24/7. So they're actually willing to lie just to get that attention. So that's already narcissistic and not great to begin with.
Guys, the white girl version of this are these bohemian hippie chicks. How many times do you see these girls like 7s and 8s and 9s, but they deal with the sisterhood and it's a bunch of tubbos and friggin' goofy looking broads that bully them in the same way that dark-skinned girls bully light-skinned girls. The moment that a hot light-skinned girl walks in, all the dark-skinned beat-ups are, how dare you? And then the moment that a hot white girl walks in, right? All of a sudden, all the biggins are, how dare you? Right? So then these girls go, man, I don't want to stick out. I don't want to be bullied. I feel bad for fitting the male gaze. So what do they always do, right? They put the freaking white girl dreadlocks in. They get these goofy tattoos.
They stop showering.
They stop showering. They stop shaving. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks because they still get attention. Right?
Yeah, guys will still bang them. They're just like, well, I just got to hold my breath for about 15 minutes.
Here's the thing. They also go all in on this feminist thing. So, guys, they become these feminists, right? But here's the thing, guys. We all know that these chicks are all easy, anyways. All these hippie chicks, guys. You can smash hippie chicks almost easier than anything else. They are any DTF, anytime, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Which pisses the biggins off even more because now it's out and all the guys are all smashing the hippie girl. Guys, us guys, we don't look at things like skin tone, hair, or a girl's either fine or she's not. Guys, we all know that some of us have smashed, these hippie chicks, or we've smashed these like short-haired wearing girls because they're fine. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot for a pretty girl to actually make her. A pretty girl cannot make herself ugly unless she has like her face covered in tattoos and does all that body modification, cutting her nose off and all that other stuff, But like,
even with some of the ugly ones, though, if they got like a nice rack or nice backside, we will find some attribute.
I like ugly girls with body because they be having the best coochie, man.
What is this?
Ugly girl with hot bodies, like their body is a 10.
Yeah. I would say an ugly girl with a hot body is above average, right? She's like a 5 in the face, but her body makes her a 6 or like a low 7. Guys, I honestly believe that girls that are 5s and 6s are the best in bed, especially if it's one of us guys that are 6, 7s, and 8s. Because they are so girls that are 9s and 10s, they just starfish, right? Because they act like, oh, you should be
you're
privileged
lucky to even be
smash.
here.
Yeah, but guys, some of the chicks I know that are demons in the stack are like 5s, 6s, or the best are glow up girls that were like 4s and 5s in high school, then they hit college, and now they're like 7s and 8s, man.
Yeah, so the 8s, they have a term for the 8s, 9s, and 10s. It's actually called GPS. Golden, I'll let you decide what the P means.
Yeah.
And last one is syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. So, guys, there's a couple reasons they're trying to say men choose to live solo, right? And let's see if we agree with all these, and then we'll actually get into the loneliness epidemic, right? Because once again, I don't believe that it's a thing. I think that it's demonizing us, is scapegoating us, and also, guys, the incel thing, which, guys, I mean, incels are all pathetic anyways, right? Like, I don't think that there is a space in our area for incels. I don't really talk about incels much, but guys, to me, there's two things that coaches can't fix, and that's laziness and cowardice, right? And I honestly believe that guys that are incels possess both of those, right? I mean,
I don't believe the word incel exists, because let's just say a guy is lazy, coward, whatever. He still has money. And if these women out here selling it, but he chooses not to buy it, that means he values his money more than he values their box.
I don't think, but here's the thing. Some of these incels, these are guys that have no money, they have no job, they're just sitting there whining on the internet all day, right? And don't understand, guys, okay. Okay. The thing about these incels, right? And there's a couple of examples that I've seen other guys react to, so maybe I'll start reacting to them. But guys, these guys, they sit there just like how these femcells, how these 304s, they expect, men worth a damn to just magically teleport into their living room, right? And come find them. But they're guys who do this. And then they don't have money, they don't work, they're just on the internet, and they just don't understand why the entire world just doesn't come to them. And that's why I think that they're like more pathetic than anything else. Because guys, us men, no one cares.
Yeah.
If you're not out there trying to make it happen. Now, if you've honestly been spinning your wheels and you can prove that you tried 90-something% of everything and it's still not working, then you might have a gripe, right? But if you haven't even like jumped in the pool and tried to swim, how can you whine about the length of the pool? It don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to get out there and fail.
Yes. And guys, failure is something that all of us men do. It's all of us men put up with, right? And that's one thing, guys, about the red pill space, guys. All Colin, Walk, we're in our 40s. Snowboard, you're in your 30s, right?
I'm 36, yeah.
Mac, you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah, a little bit younger, 30, yeah.
So we've all been out here. Guys, I think that one of the issues is there's these 17, 18-year-old kids that come into our space, and they haven't even got on the track to start the race yet, and they're like, these whores. I'm like, whoa there, buddy. Calm down there. You know what I mean, guys? We've been through the ringer. We've been through relationships. We've seen our dads and uncles get cooked and divorced, or have been cooked and divorced. We've seen society move towards this progressive, misandrous, gynocentric foolishness. If you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you need to listen. You need to listen to this information, strategize, and move forward. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot be mad at something you haven't experienced.
Yeah, exactly. AJ, I've made a couple of vague comments about my finances before. Let's just leave it at that. And at one point in my life, I ran my own business. Ultimately, it did fail, partly because I made some bad decisions, well, there was also outside, but let's keep it real. Ultimately, I made a couple bad decisions. But anyways, one of the best things I've ever heard from somebody very successful that I was actually talking to about investing into and possibly starting a business is this guy told me he would never go into business with anybody who hasn't failed before because that way he never learned. He never,
Yeah.
So
Can I put something into this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through the same thing. My business kind of failed and I'm financially struggling, but there's a way and there's a way out. Just it's good that we have this space. Just work hard and just figure out new ways to make money.
Yeah.
And stuff. And that's what I'm doing.
But us men, we cannot be passive, guys. We have to be proactive, and not reactive. And guys, these incels, they're like, I haven't touched much on this channel about them, right? Because if you were to see how just ridiculous that some of their mindsets are, right? And then to compare themselves to us guys like Walk, Colin, Snowboard, man, guys that are actually out here doing stuff and just assume guys, okay, all right. They are to us. They have the same victimhood mentality that women that talk about the wage gap, right?
Exactly.
The thing that irks me about incels, right, is that they say women are beneath me, women are this, women are that, but then every single problem in my life comes from a woman. Wait a minute, you can't give them all the power over your life, but then say that they're worthless. It makes no sense. And every single problem, they worship peace leave, they worship chicks. They hate, they have disdain for chicks, but they worship them.
Yeah,
it's
that's weird.
Crazy. It's a cyclical, crazy victimhood. And guys, that's one thing I can't stand, because that's one thing that we critique these women for, is this victimhood type of mentality. Guys, that does not stand here. It does not.
I'll say this to all the men who are struggling financially. Just throw a little of my story out there. When I was about 35, I went through a real bad breakup to the point where I gave her all the money that was in the bank account, the car, and just told her, leave me the F alone. She literally dropped me off at an extended stay, and I had enough money to rent it for 1 week, right? So I had 1 week to find, and at that time I was working as a temp in the oil field, and they they didn't renew my contract. So I had to find a job and everything, right? So within that week, I found I got a very good job. Got another car, and I just start rebuilding my life. So as a man, time is always on your side if you're willing to do the jobs that men are needed for. Now, if you want to go to Walmart, you want to go to some office job, no, you're working against your biology. Society doesn't need you for that kind of work. That's what we have women for. But if you're willing to get out there and do, dangerous construction work and work your way up to maybe a heavy equipment operator or whatever, you'll get there. So time is always on your side as a man, but as a woman, women always talk about the glass ceiling. There's no glass ceiling, but what it is the careers that they pick, they low wage.
Walk. There's not a glass ceiling, but there's a glass cellar.
Right.
Exactly. They're looking down on all the men whose shoulders they're standing on.
Exactly.
They're looking down on all the men that are supporting the society that they're living, but they're so hyper focused on that 1% of dudes, right? Guys, society is a pyramid, right? It's a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, you have rich men's wives, right? Because they don't have to work and they're benefiting. Then you have rich men beneath them, and then you have women. And then you have all the rest of us men at the bottom of the pyramid. And these 304s are so stupid. They're so dumb that they think that all men, that somehow they're at the bottom and all men are at the top. Clown world.
You stupid woman.
Clown world.
And Walk and AJ, that's why I like hearing from you guys. You guys are 40 years old, and what y'all went through, I'm going through right now. So I would love to talk to you more about it in the future.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like I said, without Walk has said, guys, time is on your side, but you have to use it the right way, because Colin, Snowboard, Walk, Matt, what's the most important thing a man has?
Time.
Yep.
Time. Yep.
And what's the thing that a man has that women like to take the most of?
Time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
They are
Coincidence?
just
I
a
think not.
distraction.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are. And guys, you know this in most practical terms. Because when you're alone and you're working, oh, wait, I'm alone now. So I have my 40-hour week job. I can get a part-time job. So guys, I'm telling you, there have been times in my life where I've actually spent most of my adult life with 2 jobs, even in college, right? We work 7, 8, 9, 10 months, and you don't have time to do anything. And then one day it's like Christmas or whatever. You take a day off and you look and you're like, I got a lot of money in the bank because you've been focusing on making money and not spending it. There's one thing that these women do to keep you from your loneliness is try and make you to spend money. So here we go. So this is 15 reasons why older men choose to live solo, right? Okay, so 15 set in their ways. So after decades of experience, men develop routines and preferences that bring them comfort. Living with a partner, a woman can disrupt these established patterns. So guys, we agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
These men cherish the predictability and control that comes with living alone. Now,
and
we know that these 2 things are antithetical to women. Predictability and control with a woman.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
my ex, she used to, like, when I got home from work, at a certain place that I would put my car keys, because the next morning, when you first wake up, you're kind of in autopilot mode, so you don't really want to have to think about nothing. So I knew if I put my car keys right here, they'd be there the next morning without even thinking, groggy. I can just reach right there, they'd be there, and I can head out the door. Well, her and her infinite wisdom thought she'd be helping me out, and she moved them somewhere else. That it was in an obvious place where I could see them if I was wide awake, but they weren't where I left them, and it pissed me off to no end. And she just couldn't understand that. And I was like, "Why did you have to move them?" I put them right there because that's where I wanted them.
Well, Walk, how many times have you guys? You meet a chick, you guys start dating, you're chilling, and then you go to her house, and you just take your shoes off, you go inside. You don't comment on the fact that she has all these stupid pillows or the house smells like some foolishness, whatever. But the moment that she comes into your house, she's trying to tell you how you need to organize your shoes, and you don't have enough glasses, you don't have enough silverware.
Yeah.
Your friggin' couches don't match. What are you talking? This is my place.
Yeah. That's why I just stopped letting them over.
Guys, so number 14, we value our independence. So for many older men, independence is a hard-won treasure. Facts. They spent years working towards financial security and building a self-sufficient life. Sharing living space can feel like a compromise. Is a compromise. So we agree with this, right? So
Most definitely.
Yep. Guys, these last sentences are basically what you can't do with a woman around. Look, they might enjoy making their own decisions, decorating their space how they like, and having complete control over their time. Does not happen with a woman.
Or lack of decorations in general.
Facts. Yep. So depending on their finances, some older men might find it more practical to live alone. This can be true if they're on a fixed income or have specific financial goals that they're working towards, like saving for retirement, travel, or grandchildren's education. So living solo allows them to manage their budget more efficiently and avoid financial strain. So financial strain equals a woman.
They used to get so mad at me at work because I used to tell them, I used to say it all the time because I don't bite my tongue and say, women and babies are just bills that get more expensive the longer you keep them.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's funny.
It's true. Yep. So guys, we already looked at the stats that I think it's like only 40 or 30% of women have any type of retirement at all. So guys, if you are a guy and you're saving and scrimping and saving and investing for your retirement, why would you, especially being 50 or 60, take on some? You're basically adopting a child. That's all you're doing. You are saving up money to pay for someone else to retire. Insane. Why?
And take trips and do all this and do all that.
And then tell
meanwhile,
you that the lifestyle that you saved for is not good enough.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay. Desire for quietness. This is a big one too.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that should be number one.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, women like noisy environments, and it bothers me to no end. I just moved. I moved back last October to my new apartment. I still have not even set my TV up yet because I don't watch TV. I don't turn it on. I don't listen to it. Every once in a while, if I'm doing something around the house like cleaning or cooking, I might put on some music. But even then, even though I'm the only one in the house, I still put headphones on and they're at a low volume. You know how many of my female neighbors I can hear blaring their music?
Yeah.
24/7 too.
There are the ones that say that they want quiet and they want to recharge. But those are the chicks that call themselves introverts, but they use the term introvert just so they can be a bitch to people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the
And
only
that's
ones.
why when you call them demonic, I'm like, that's exactly what demons love: noise and chaos.
Yep, that's true. Yep. So it says years of raising kids or working can leave an older man craving peace and quiet. Living alone allows them to control their noise level. This can create the serene atmosphere and unwind and recharge. Yep. Fear of vulnerability, please. Come on.
What the heck? Why is that on there?
What?
Guys, come on. I'm just scared, man. I'm just scared, bro. I don't know. I'm a 60-year-old man, but I'm so insecure. Please, look at this. Opening up to a new partner can be daunting at any age, but especially for older men who have experienced heartbreak or loss in the past.
Yeah,
Living alone can be a way to shield themselves from the emotional vulnerability that comes with intimate relationships. They
Please.
appreciate the emotional security and comfort of their established routine, avoiding the potential for further pain. Now, this is just, guys, why even try with women? If you're 60 and you're retired and you're chilling, guys, why would you even want to let anyone else in when you built your cave, you built your fortress, right?
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of Trojan horses out there, and you have to try and guess which one doesn't have the Trojans. No way. No way, right?
No.
Hobbies and interests, we agree with, right? How many older guys are restoring that old Chevelle, that old Camaro? You know what I'm saying? That old 240Z, right?
Yeah.
Or they're hunting or fishing or all these other things. And then, guys, this is a big one. Appreciation for simple pleasures. Here you go. Guys might enjoy the leisurely breakfast on the porch, the companionship of a pet, tending to a garden, finding peace and contentment every day. The thing that women are incapable of doing. How many times have you just been like in your backyard with a beer, just chilling, and this woman, you turn, you're like, shut up! Shut up! Please, can you just shut the fuck? Please. I just want to sit here and have a beer. Maybe we'll turn on the grill, cook a steak, but can you please shut up? Or here, how many times, guys, have you turned on the TV? And guys, what are the movies where once you see them on, you have to watch them? Like Shawshank. Damn it! Now I gotta watch the rest of this damn movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket. It comes on TV. Like, man, darn it!
You gotta see it through.
Yeah,
Platoon.
Yeah, Platoon. A Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump. Yeah.
Dang it! Now I gotta watch the rest of this. You know what I mean? But guys, you'll sit there because we will watch. Okay, guys. You want to know the difference between men and women? Guys, do you know what the test is? Guys, you're with a girl, have a Van Damme-a-thon.
Oh my God!
Watch Kickboxer, watch Bloodsport, and watch Time Cop back to back, and see how long she sticks. See how much more.
That he was in Breaking. I was watching Breaking, and I just noticed that he was in the background dancing Breaking.
Guys, watch how much more fun you will have watching Van Damme specifically, okay? Because Arnold's the big dude, whatever. But chicks are like, why is this guy doing the splits? Because he's Van Damme, damn it! Watch how perplexed that women are in the middle of freaking Kickboxer. You understand? Or in the middle of Bloodsport. And you're like, yeah, let's go. Woo! They're like, this is dumb. This is dumb. But what are you doing? Get out! All right, here we go. Focusing on personal growth. This is the big one, guys. Because, guys, Bill Burr had his Monday morning podcast, okay? And this, Bill Burr started playing the drums when he was older. And this guy wrote into him and said, Bill, that he'd been married for like 30 years. All the kids were out the house. And now, when he was younger, he wanted to learn how to paint. So like he bought some paint stuff and he was in the shed and he was setting it up. And his wife's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm trying to learn to paint. And his wife was like, that's fucking stupid. You're never gonna. And he said that he didn't know why he felt some type of way about that. And guys, because Tom Likas said it the best, women are dream killers.
Yep.
Guys, imagine Walk has spent his whole, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, right? Navigating life through some broad, raising kids in an alternate universe, right? And then Walk always wanted to draw his own comic books, right? So Walk clears out the oldest son's bedroom and makes he buys some stuff, he buys some finds some YouTube stuff, buys some easels, and he's ready to go, right? And then this chick's like, what the fuck? Why would you even have them around? And especially since they're not trying to learn anything. They're not trying to improve themselves. Your 50s and your 60s are the times where you want to say, look, I probably don't have very much time left, maybe a good 15, 20 years. So I should probably do the things I want to do, learn how to finally finish. Maybe I'm a mechanic, but I don't know how to paint cars. I'm going to learn how to paint cars. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm going to learn how to tattoo. Maybe I'm going to learn how to speak Spanish or Mandarin. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of guys do. Hey, Colin, Walk, snowboard, man. What do they call this in a derogatory term when a guy all of a sudden
midlife crisis?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And is there a positive connotation to that?
Nope.
Of course not.
They act like you're failing. And
but then they have their midlife crisis, which involves them traveling to other countries to get banged by teenage boys.
Sowing their oats.
By freaking Jamaican nug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, by Dexter St. Joplin.
Oh my God. giving him the herp derp and the high five. You know what I'm saying? Family drama, we agree with, yes. Minimalism, that's a male thing. We agree, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you want clean, organized. Yeah. Enjoying your own company. This is a big one, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Guys, most men, we enjoy our own company. This is why, guys, the loneliness epidemic, I don't think is real because a lot of us guys are happy just fine, on our own.
Yeah, that's why they call
social needs.
Hermits and recluses is like a derogatory term, but it really we're just happy by ourselves.
Yeah.
They're just jealous. Yeah. Guys, social needs, right? Men don't have this need to be social like women do.
Yeah,
guys,
no.
My best friend, I've known him for 25 years. We talk 3 times a year. 3. for about 45 minutes, and we're best friends. But he knows that if he needs anything, pick up the phone, I'll be there, and vice versa. You know, once.
And I think that sort of it works for us and against us at the same time, because it's the old saying, like, divided we fall. So because we're naturally, we naturally, are by ourselves, it's a lot easier for them to do things or to come up with stuff like that to try to shame us, like us wanting to be by ourselves, or have a midlife crisis, that sort of thing,
But I think the issue is that we've always had men's only spaces, like the Knights of Columbus or the
Right,
friggin'
the round table, Arthur's round table.
Yeah. But those are considered sexist and misogynist now. So men have always had places, even the bar itself. So women used to not be let in the bars. I showed you guys the video in Australia of when bars had illegally let women in. Men would go to the neighborhood watering hole, and they would talk, amongst each other.
Yeah, black barbershops. I remember, when I was a kid, my dad, we went to the same barber every week, and there weren't women weren't allowed in there. You could come in the door to drop the son off, but she dropped the son off, and she knew that the son was in a safe place because she knew all the men in there, but we just didn't allow women in there. Now you see all these women in there getting fades too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Well, this was actually, the whole prohibition thing that had to be repealed. This was largely pushed by women, and actually one of their main things was that they wanted to get rid of the bars because it was pretty much like 99% men, and the women, they just got angry that men would have their place that they could go. Everything was good, everything was peaceful, everything was on the up and up, and they came up with all these stupid excuses to push through prohibition. And of course, anything that women do, they never foresee the bad consequences. So then how long did prohibition last? It was
10 years.
Yeah, that's right. And finally, things got bad enough to where the government was like, no, we're getting rid of this. We made a mistake. So
Even gyms, they tried to come out with women came out with their woman only gyms, curves or whatever it's called, right? But so men were like, okay, we're going to start male only gyms. They didn't last a month before the women had them banned by the government.
But here's the thing, that this is why they freaking talk out of both sides of their neck. Because how many times do you see on TikTok, we need to have women's only gyms? You have them, you just don't go.
You won't go to them. You won't go.
We need to, men need to. Men are, look, here, guys. Okay, this is them talking out of both sides of their neck, because women say we want to delete babies. Yeah, we're all effinists, and so we want baby deletion.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
But then the moment that men say, yeah, we want baby deletions, because if I want that chick to flush it, all of a sudden it's, how dare you? You're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They just want things to go their way. They want their reasoning more than anyone else's. If women say, "Look, we want female only gyms," and men say, "Yeah, because we don't want you here," all of a sudden it's, how dare you? You're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You absolute dunderheads. Why are they so stupid?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't feel safe in this gym with all these men here. Every time I bend over and turn around, one's looking at me. Go to your female only gym then.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're wearing skin-tight clothing.
Yeah, do it right in front of you too.
Hold on.
You know how Walk said that the golden puss syndrome, the GPS? It's because the GPS needs coordinates.
Look at this, guys. Look. Okay.
So I go to a women's only gym, right? And the funniest thing happened yesterday. I'm on the treadmill and all of a sudden I hear on the announcements, ladies, a man has entered the building. I repeat, a man has entered the building. And I'm like, they really put this man on blast for entering a women's only space. Like,
and yet they will allow there, right? Isn't it funny how that works?
First, I thought we were going on lockdown. I thought that there was an active robbery occurring in the building. But no, it was just a man.
Okay.
Just a man.
But look, someone says, men, if you want a men's only gym, then go ahead and make one. No one's stopping you. The government's stopping us.
You know what's so crazy?
Look, hold on. Someone says, except women will complain that it's sexist to have male only spaces. Someone says, actually, the government literally will put a stop to it. Facts.
Yeah.
Both sides of their neck, man. Mac, what were you saying?
Yeah, that's why the women only gym be failing.
Yeah. Here we go.
There's this girl on here that talked about how the reason that women swear by Pilates so much is more so the fact that they're finally in like an all-girl environment rather than it being more so about the technique of Pilates. And
guys, men invented.
Yeah, it's a male invention.
Pilates. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
It's like invented by like a Swedish guy or something.
Yeah. So guys, once again, all these chicks are saying,
What do you mean you're going to have the idea for a women's only gym? You're going to share that idea. You're going to crowdfund for that idea. You're going to say it's an inclusive space. But when it comes time to actually opening, you're going to backtrack and say it's for biologically born women only. Number one, how do you police that? How are you enforcing that rule? Number two, trans women are not the threat. Let's be real here. When it comes to gyms, gym etiquette, being assaulted at the gym, trans women are not the threat and not the issue. And thirdly, have you ever taken a moment to actually step foot into an already existing women's only gym? Because the ones I've been to have been a gorgeous open space. Queer women, trans women, even if they're not in the gym right there at that time, you know, because it is said very explicitly that they are welcome there. And that creates a very positive and welcoming experience and environment. What you're going to create is hostility. You're going to create a little echo chamber of people that think the same way as you. And if you want a gym full of TERFs, go for it. It sounds like so much fun. But what I don't understand is if you feel so passionately about these women's only spaces, why didn't you do a little bit of research, go along to these spaces that already existed and actually offer to you?
Clown world, right? They can't even get their own stuff figured out.
Yeah.
So guys,
Just think how cool it would be to have an all-male gym to where, you know, first of all, you know, all the guys there would just be cool as hell, right? We'd all be cool with each other. We'd all come up with some sort of competition once a month where everybody would get in it, like it'd be a thing. And then when a new dude walks in the door to come work out, they play like the 300 suit, like, oh, you know what? Like, how cool would that be? But women won't let us have it because they know we'd have too much fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true. Yep.
Ain't the only gym for female be failing and all that kind of stuff. I be finding it hilarious.
Guys, anyone who wants to join the panel, hit the button. Hit the StreamYard. Guys, here, this is Andrew Wilson, right? And he's talking to these knuckleheads about they're trying to say that like men being alone, like how Shrek lived in the tree, right? At the beginning, that was toxically masculine or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Insane. All right, here we go.
Here to talk about the scientific method, are we?
Can you tell me the scientific method or not, Ryan?
No, I'm not going to entertain it.
No, you can't tell me the scientific. So you're going to tell me about
No,
science. You can't. Okay, well, the first step is observation.
Andrew Wilson is back to demolish more leftards, this time on Is Toxic Masculinity Real? Andrew Wilson was on the YouTube channel of The Raging Tomato, where he teamed up with Neo Starling to take on Radical Coder, or as we like to call him, Radical Coper, and Ghosty. Will the two libtards be able to convince us, the people, that toxic masculinity is real? Yeah, I don't know about that one, but you know what? Who knows? Maybe today's the day. Maybe we found the two geniuses that could school Andrew Wilson. Let's see how this debate goes down.
If I can just real quick, and I'm going to yield the floor to Ghosty after this, but I just want to address the Shrek criticisms. It's funny that you accuse me of leaving out core details about the story, but you don't even mention Lord Farquaad either, the villain of the movie. And you accuse Fiona of lying to Shrek to marry him, which is not at all what happened in that movie.
Do you know why, though? Hang on, actually, I have a good reason for this.
She was revealed to be an ogre well before Shrek and her actually really connected in a romantic way.
In this direction
is like bringing Shrek out of those.
But here we are.
And I thought the Shrek example was a pretty good analogy, but we could go into that whole movie.
My brain hurts.
Yeah.
By the way, that was a Reddit thread. You got that? I was reading the Reddit thread.
Did it really? I used AI to
Ryan. Yeah, it came from a Reddit thread. You should just Google it. It's the first thing that pops up.
Creatures like
Well,
it's
he's
not
an
healthy
ogre.
to live by yourself.
He's an ogre.
Okay, this is like an analogy though, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
think
within
Shrek
the
was, like, fooled
confines
into the marriage, like
no, within the confines.
Want that at the end?
Do you think
within
Shrek
the confines?
was
Are
happier?
you going to let me answer a question? You're just going to ask him.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, in the analogy here, this is really simple, right? What is wrong with a guy wanting to be stoic and living alone? What's wrong with that?
Well, for the movie, like Shrek was way happier after he had like a community and marriage and kids and friends.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff,
called
right?
plot convenience.
So don't you think humans are kind of like meant to procreate and have relationships and stuff like that?
Yeah, except
So-
for the ones who want to be left alone and live.
Did AJ mute himself again?
Hey, how's everybody going? How's everybody doing today?
Hello, everybody. I guess we haven't technical
I find it
difficulties.
funny.
Sorry, guys.
You have,
You hear me now?
yeah,
You hear me
yeah.
now?
this-
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, now
no, but
it's
I
good.
was gonna say, guys, there's some people who just want to be left the hell alone, right? They want to be left alone. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. This shit goes well. Shrek had the family that, but men need to ask themselves now, unlike we've had to in the past, at what cost, right? Because once again, women walked away from the social contract, and it's costing men more and more to try and make this deal. The deal's not worth it anymore. So
Even now, you have all these women. You can see them on TikTok. They chose to live off the grid and go live alone or whatever. Well, they found out that living alone is it's hard work. It's tiresome, right? And only men are built to do it because it's a lot of physical manual labor you got to do. And so now you have a lot of women that chose to live off the grid and go live alone that are now actually begging for some man to come live with them because they can't do it anymore.
Or they're gonna live like the Golden Girls. You guys know how many girls are out there, and they're actually trying to make a pact where they're gonna live like the Golden Girls, and some of them are acting like it's a gotcha, like, ha, we're gonna show you guys. It's like, I don't think that's the flex you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Living with a bunch of old bitter broads. You know what I mean? So.
Well, the funny thing is I see this clip right now, and I was just talking to Radical Coper. He got pissed when I called him that last night. Me and Rachel Wilson are going to destroy him on Memorial Day if you guys are interested. So it's very funny that this video came up. I have a debate in like 20 minutes with some feminists. But yeah, I just wanted to come in and check in on you guys.
Yeah. So Marte and Broderick, first of all, do you think the whole male loneliness thing is an actual thing, right? Or do you, because I say that I don't think it's an actual thing, right? I think there's multiple variables. It's one, women want men to be pack mules, right? So they don't want men's default to be being alone. They don't want men to be okay with being alone. That's why it's being stigmatized. There's this whole incel conversation, and they've managed to somehow try and apply that to all of us men by saying that there's a loneliness epidemic. And also, we looked at a video earlier where they had to have a disclaimer before they were even talking about men being lonely in the first place. So it's like, what is it? Why are you talking out of both sides of your neck, right? You have to say, oh, well, And then also they're trying to not even call it an actual problem until it affects women. Don't get it twisted. Men have always been alone, right? But now the Surgeon General says that it's more dangerous than smoking because women are
2
actually
packs a
as
day.
alone
Yeah.
as men. So what do you guys think?
I think that the female, the male loneliness epidemic is a nonconformist mentality that the feminist agenda had brought upon us. They're not willing to conform to patriarchal conformist ideals. So what they're doing is they're going ahead and shunning. If you look at the 80% of men that are shut out of the dating market, this is all feminism.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
But here's the thing, though. Once again,
Oh.
Once men start saying, "Wait a minute, my default is being alone," that's empowering men because now any of these chicks who want to come over and try and get one of us men, they're in an they have to pitch to us. They're not in the powerful position anymore. So the moment that you're okay with being alone, these feminists and these women lose their power. That's what they're so scared of. Who was saying something?
I was saying something.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, so like most people know, I was born in the city of Detroit as a child of prostitution, right? This didn't happen because of no two people came together and no marriage and they wanted to create a happy family. This happened because, someone was a prostitute, someone was a John. All throughout my adolescence, everybody was like, "Oh, he gonna do something. He gonna do something violent because he's a child of a prostitute. He's not from a good seed, right?" And all throughout my years in high school, I was very comfortable with being to myself, being the loner that I was, and not getting involved with anybody. Okay, I get in college, and suddenly that whole perspective and narrative that people placed on me about being a loner, it got flipped upside down. Oh, it's not good for you to be alone. You're in college now. You're not in high school anymore. You need to be amongst the group. You need to be amongst us. And I was going to college for associates of science, and you had certain classes like microbiology and different biology classes you could take, and most of the projects you can do alone. You don't have to group up with anybody. As long as you turn out your grades and you turn in your stuff to the professor, you can kind of stay out of sight, out of mind.
So, question for you though: who are the people in college that were the most trying to get you to change your behavior, or who are trying to stigmatize your?
AJ, you already know the answer to this. It was the opposite sex. The guys didn't have a problem with this. It was always the opposite sex.
Guys, we all know who it was,
Streets. Right? I'm a bitch from the streets. I get that money. I get that money. Bitch, give me what you got.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And guys, and Broderick, how old are you now?
33.
So, but you've been this way your entire life, right?
Yeah, I've been this way this entire life.
So basically, you cracked the code. Because guys, once again, we were looking at this article here. This is old. They're saying older men and why they prefer to live alone. Guys, I would say all men, but younger men are more susceptible to social conditioning, right? So guys, all men should make this their default. Being alone, enjoying your own company, keeping things simple, the kiss, keep it simple, stupid, should be your default. They need to come to all of us and make the women, and imagine, because women can't advertise anything. Like they say they all think that they're marketing geniuses, but all the best marketing stuff comes from men, right? But guys, imagine women having to come to men en masse and actually market marriage to us. Imagine that there's a big stadium, you have all these feminists and all these transformers and all these LDHD TV guys, right? And they are in the stadium, they're on the field, but all the rest of us men are in the parking lot tailgating. What can they say to get us to go in there, right? to play a losing game? Nothing. Yeah. And that's why they're so scared. They're so scared, guys. They're so scared that there's young men that are actually saying to hell with this. Because look, hold on, look at this. So this is this NPR thing that said the men's loneliness epidemic might not exist. Because look, they're trying to say some men are lonely, but according to a survey, 16% of men say that they're lonely most of the time, but so are 15% of women. So why are we so concerned about men? Guys, they're concerned about men because they're realizing that they don't have power over this number of men. It's actually probably more than this. Because also, I mean, you got to think about how did the survey define loneliness? Because men and women have two different concepts of loneliness, right? So did they ask these men the same questions? And what does that mean? That the only people that they got the information from or that actually are quantified in the study are all anyways?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because guys, honestly, like if someone asks anyone on this panel, so Marte, are you lonely?
Nah.
So snowboard. Are you lonely? What kind of baby man? Yeah, I'm so lonely, man. I don't know what to do. Please, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
The study was NPR and Vox, and they're kind of biased.
Yeah,
But their solution would be like, well, if you're out there simping, then you're not lonely no more. Like that's kind of the direction I feel like they're probably pushing it.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, you know, in my own case, being a child of a prostitute, I already knew all of this whole, oh, well, get married and, you know, have a family. I already saw from my own conditions of my birth that all of it was just not real. It was not real. I mean, because like I was
would
born out
say
of prostitution.
that it is real, and that you remember there's exceptions to the rule, but the reason why, like every rule or every major cultural norm has up until now has had some practical benefit, right? Like the reason why they pushed the whole, graduate from high school, get a job, or join the military, get a wife and kids, is because that's what kept society going, right? Like that's what the majority of people did in order to keep countries all across the earth going, right? Like men had to be they had to influence men to create the nuclear family, which was the backbone of society. Yes, there was always even in biblical times or in ancient Greece, there was the brothels where there was children born to prostitutes, right? But what I'm saying is, in general, men were socialized and still are. That's why there's so many beta simps and blue pills. They're socialized, but now you have young guys that are coming across conversations like this and talking to Mac and Walk and Call and Snowboard and Broadway, and they're saying, wait a minute, hold on. I'm bending over backwards here, and I don't wait. If I'm going to bend over backwards, what am I getting at this? Guys, that question in and on itself is the most dangerous question that a man can ask in a woman's eyes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, they've never asked that question because they never had to, because it was clear that the women of old, our grandmothers and great grandmothers, they were selfless and not selfish in general. There's always exceptions, but now we live, once again, guys, put a 1 if you agree. We live with the most anti-life, anti-male, selfish, narcissistic, self-centered, crass, rude, ridiculous, moronic chicks there are.
Mentally ill.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they get so offended when you ask them what do they bring to the table.
Yes.
You forgot to add hateful onto that because you know there's a whole hate all men movement going around. Still,
most men, my granddad and my great-granddad had 21 kids. My granddad had 12 kids, right? They knew what they were getting out of the most, even a basic average woman was an asset. You know what I'm saying? Now they're all liabilities, all of them.
Yeah.
So AJ, you're in the Northwest, right? So you're around. There's usually a lot of Laotians and Cambodians up there, right?
That's where I grew up. I'm in the South now, so
Okay, yeah.
But
I
yes,
grew up.
yes, you are correct. There are a lot
I
of.
grew up in Maryland, where there's a lot of Vietnamese and Cambodians and Laotians also. And you remember how the Asian girls were like the nicest, sweetest girls. Like they had these really soft voice. And now you look. I knew America. Like I was thinking about this the other day. I knew we're screwed because now the Asians are starting to sound just like B-dubs when they talk.
Yep.
Now they're just as like rougher. Like they don't like their femininity is leaving them.
Yeah. I can. So I'm still in the Northwest, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I apologize about that. But yeah, I can tell you for a fact that even the around here, the Asian girls, they got attitude like a B-dub. They're getting all big and fat. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then, dude, don't even get me started on the white women. Oh man, dude.
Well, hold on, guys. We all know that the Northwest, it is a single mom capital of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yep. It is. You will find more white single moms in the Northwest. Absolutely insane.
Wow.
Guys, that's why you wrap it up every time in the Northwest, because they were all get pregnant. So guys, we have less. Let's watch like five more minutes of this. Watch.
By themselves.
Sure, and I guess that's fine, but
What's toxic about it? It's my question.
It's not.
Well, I would say the thing that was
Go ahead.
supporting the toxic perspective of masculinity was like he'd really internalized the rejection that he'd experienced from society. Again, I brought up the quote about him saying, "I'm an awful ogre. I'm an ugly ogre." Like
because the townspeople tried to kill him at one point. You guys remember at the beginning of Shrek? It was showing like a flashback, and they had pitchforks and were after him. You remember that?
Yeah.
You know, and he was kind of engaging with this in a harmful way, where he was pushing anyone who could have connected with him away, like Donkey, for example, who he eventually becomes great friends with after Donkey expresses a very accepting, positive example of masculinity to him through friendship, which I think all of us
thinks Donkey is a positive version of masculinity in Shrek.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that all makes sense. Donkey was up there getting it in, like smashing, dashing dragons left and right. So that's positive.
Friendship.
They're not friends. He doesn't even like him. He never likes him. He never even likes him through the second movie. He just tolerates him. That's one. And then secondly, let's point out something that's pretty simple here, right? Oh, so people were trying to hunt down this guy and kill him. So he decided that he wanted to live alone, and he didn't like people very much. That's actually not toxic. That would be healthy.
There you go.
That would be a healthy
he had a
thing to
bunch
do.
of people who were living in his swamp who were, I mean, they were kind of annoying, I guess you could say.
You mean people
But-
who were trying to steal his property?
They was trying to steal
I think
property.
the whole point.
Farquaad
is
was
that-
trying to steal his property.
Well, okay, by putting people on his property who were then living there, and he wanted them off his property.
Yeah, displacing them.
Yeah, I think I would be pretty annoyed if I just woke up tomorrow, don't you, Ryan, and there was 25 people on your property.
No doubt, yeah. Especially if some.
Why are they even trying to argue with Andrew Wilson? Guys, Andrew Wilson just cooks people. It's just hilarious. Like, I just don't understand. Like, first of all, he has the patience of a saint, because some of the people he debates, quote unquote. I don't know how he does.
Would it be toxic of you to want them to leave so that you could live by yourself if you wanted to?
Not necessarily,
No.
but if it was, if I used that my rejection of community based on my own internalized trauma from my past of being rejected by that society to avoid connection with those people or with anybody, then that might be toxic.
What if you just don't want? What if you don't want connection with people? That's still not toxic. You haven't actually shown me how that's toxic. You just assert that it is.
There it is.
So, like, let's say you're traumatized and don't want.
Do you
anything
think that
to do
men
with the
commit
community.
suicide more than women?
Yeah, but you know why? It's because they're better at it.
Yeah, exactly, guys. And guys, that's what you say when someone says, "Oh, men are more." The reason why men do it more is because we're better at it.
It takes balls.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to do that.
And also, guys, when we do it, guys, men are better at violence, period. Right? So why would we not be better at a violent act? That would be like saying, all right, you're gonna line up the average man who's 5'10", 178 pounds, 180 pounds, and the average woman who's 5'4" and 168 pounds. You line up 100 people in general. 100 for the man, 100 for the women. And you both have the men and women start seeing who they can knock out. How many of them they can knock out. So the woman starts punching people in the face, and the man, who's gonna knock the most people out?
Oh, we win by far. There's a trend on TikTok. 100 studs versus 100 men. I replied to it. Hey, fellas, don't worry. I got the first 25.
You see, frame. No, can you imagine, guys? There's what? 6 of us on this panel, guys. You put six of us, and it's 40 studs, guys. Come on.
This is where we hold up. This is where we fight. This is where they die. And these Shield boys.
Yo, guys, can you imagine? Guys, that's some good cardio right there. You guys, I actually have a clip. Do you guys remember that one clip of the feminists? They were marching in like Milan, and the guy, he was trying to like walk his scooter through the march, and they were trying to stop him, and one of them like spit on him. He started going, "What?" And just knocking out whole rows of chicks.
Oh no! But if you got that clip, please play it.
A whole crowd. It was nuts. He was just taking them all out, and there's nothing that they could do about it either. So
actually do it. They actually attempted at the same rates. Look it up. They attempted at the same rates.
Women actually attempt higher. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that men use pistols, and so their success rate is much higher because they actually know how to use them. If women actually needed,
or do you disagree?
Well, no. Actually, women suffer from mental health problems at exorbitant amounts in comparison to men. It's not even in the same universe. It's much higher for women. Much higher for women.
Are they more likely to seek help or not?
These people are idiots. They don't really know what they're doing.
So the whole point is that it's not like
real quick about the self-unaliving. Here's the thing. I mean, I like how Andrew Wilson tries to make it that men are just better at self-unaliving than women. Men are just really better at everything, I guess. But in all seriousness, though, here's the thing. That's where,
and
to me,
that they're quite
to have people in,
and it's a problem. But to call it toxic or it's toxic masculinity, I think that's where the contention comes in this whole debate.
Yeah. A man who lives by himself because he has PTSD or something, he doesn't want to be around somebody. That's not necessarily like toxic to society. But if you want to live like a healthy life, I don't think anybody wants to like it's not a good idea to have people in isolation. That's just not healthy for you.
They want to be beautiful.
But if you're doing that out of like trauma, like you're traumatized and
interacting,
even if you are doing it out of that thing, it's fine.
You guys know how they say people who have kids shouldn't, people who don't want kids shouldn't have them, right?
Yeah.
Well, people who don't want to interact with society shouldn't be interacting with society.
Yeah,
isn't that a good thing?
Yeah,
because this is a crazy thing. You know what? Hold on, everyone on the panel, click with me here, right? Let's just pump the brakes. You know what the craziest thing about Black Pill and MGTOW is, right? If guys go MGTOW, you think these chicks would applaud because that means that all these guys are not, all the guys that they think are toxic and stuff are avoiding them, right? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't that be something that women, especially these feminists and all these people who hate men, you think that they would be the most MGTOW there are, right?
Yeah.
But instead,
how dare you?
That's what they say, right? They want us to deal with them in the exact way that they want to. They want to program us to say, we want you to be psychic and figure out everyone's boundaries and all this stuff, and then make it so you have to deal with us. No, that's not how it works, you know? So
and you have PTSD, you don't want to be around people, that means you're just living in a mentally unhealthy state. So
do you know that there are men, for instance, who have to necessarily brave the brutals of warfare? And when they do, right, oftentimes there is no treatment. You can talk about treatment all you want, but you can't actually treat them. It doesn't matter if you give them pills, doesn't matter how much you talk to them, doesn't matter how much you have them in groups. And so a lot of those men end up isolating themselves, right? Or they isolate themselves and their families both, right? And they kind of move away from general society and this type of thing because they actually know that they're quite dangerous. And so they isolate themselves from the group. This is very common. Men have been doing this, by the way, for thousands of years. You can go back and look at the literature on this for men who come back from war and isolate themselves for just this reason, because they know that they have impulse control issues, which came from warfare, things like this. Is that toxic?
So I have a lot of military family and a lot of people who have served overseas in various extents, and it seems like to me, at least from my perspective, that they seem to find a lot of comfort in like a fraternity with others who served served alongside them, right?
I knew I had it. I knew I had it, guys. Here we go. Here we go. Look at friggin' City Boy here, right? Watch. Oops. Watch. Let's go. Let's go. You gotta keep swinging.
He wants it to happen.
Look at that. Let's go.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that.
Release the Kraken.
Yes. Look at that. Look at that. He was holding his own. though. Look at it. Yeah, guys, what he should have done is taken this helmet off and started swinging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, one guy was holding off a whole crowd full of chicks, and he's not even like a big dude either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He has no muscle mass on at all.
Can you imagine all of us guys back to back, friggin' tornado kicking these?
Like I said, hey, let me get the first 25 so I can get all my anger and everything out. You guys can have the rest.
So, guys, here we go, and we'll end here, right? So this guy says the male loneliness epidemic. I've noticed some weird. Let me open the chat back up here. Hold on. Let's do that real quick. 1 second. Okay. Hey guys, make sure to hit the like button. Appreciate that. I've noticed some weird contradictions in regarding to progressives in this topic that I've like answered. They'll say that the male loneliness epidemic isn't real, but also be real enough to be the entire fault of men. Is it real or is it not? Right? Facts. See? Yep. They'll say that women are just as lonely as men, so it's wrong to label the loneliness epidemic as just a male thing. At the same time, say men should talk about their own issues and stop coming to feminists with men's issues. Men talking about the loneliness epidemic is them talking about their own issues. And if women want more attention, the female loneliness epidemic, why don't they start talking about it instead of trying to put men down for talking about their issues? Because they're women and they make no sense. Look at that. So this paragraph comes with a second contradiction. Though they'll say that women are better at forming friendships and keeping friends than men. Yes, I've generally seen mostly women say this. They'll say that women are better at forming friendships and bonds than men, but this also runs in direct contradiction, something else they say. They, meaning the blue pill progressives, in general will say that women are just as lonely as men. If women are better at forming and keeping relationships than men, then why are they just as lonely? There you go. Right? How is it that the Gallup polls show they're just as lonely as us, but they're supposed to be emotionally intelligent, right?
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
So the way that I see it, that if you're going to say that women are just as lonely as men, that it's a contradiction to say that women are better at forming and keeping relationships than men. And if you're going to say that women are better at forming, keeping friendships than men, then it's not only a contradiction to say that women are just as lonely as men, there's also a perfectly justifiable to label the loneliness epidemic as a male-focused problem. Well, I mean, he didn't lie, right? You know?
All I have to say is, all I have to say is, AJ, everything that happens to man, like woman most affected. It's always that woman most affected.
Yeah, you see it on these podcasts where these women say that women are the biggest victims in war.
Yeah.
What? What are you talking about?
They always say that.
Yeah, Pyro, what's up, man?
Bumblecard.
I'm doing good, man. I'm well.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing so far on the stream?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
Talk about men being left alone. I mean, sorry, about men wanting to be left alone and how they're trying to stigmatize. Guys, I guess I'll probably kind of talk about the variables again, right? That made me think about this. Men have always been alone, right? You have guys that are hobos, recluses, guys in the woods, homeless, or whatever, and we just deal with it, right? But they didn't start having the loneliness epidemic be a thing until women started getting the negative outcomes that men have. They wanted to be out here with freedoms, but now they're free to succeed and they're free to fail. And guys, it looks like they're failing, right? But now they want us to do something about it. They want us men to somehow give a damn. Come on.
Nope.
I don't think so, right? But guys, the whole incels thing started this whole thing where they're trying to scapegoat men. They're trying to say, oh, all men that choose to be alone, that has to be linked to some toxic behavior like incels. So they are trying to, they're okay. They're saying that they're mad that men are having this loneliness conversation because it's something that we can own, right? That's specific to us. Because they don't even like us talking about self-deletion, right? If there's any problem that men have that might actually be a societal problem, all the feminists say, how dare you, right? So they're trying to say that we can't talk about men's problems, men's loneliness, but then it has to be talked about because it leads to incels. Think about how insane.
Well, we can't talk about it because they know we'll solve it, and they don't want it to be solved.
Yes,
they don't want. They want just to be able to use them as a way to insult us, right?
Yes.
So if we fix the problem, then they can't use it as an insult towards us anymore.
But what's the fix, though? The fix is that men just make being alone a default
Acceptable.
setting.
The fix is for us to make men feel like if they want to be alone, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Or being alone is preferable.
Yeah.
Because guys, think about the shift in that mindset, and I had talked about earlier. Guys, there's societal norms that make most young men want to grow up, get married, have a kid, have a son, play catch, teach them how to play football or basketball, or whatever. There's a reason why this, because practically that's what's kept society going, is men saying, look, if I have a wife and kids, and that's going to further push forward that whole we have to protect and provide and do all this stuff. That's built into society for survival, right? But once again, what did we talk about earlier, guys? This Gen X, I would say Gen X and millennials are the first generations of men where we stopped, took a look around and said, what do we get out of this? And guys, that frightens women more than anything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because their heyday is over. Them being able to do whatever they want to do and have us still be here waiting for them. Now guys are walking. They walked away from the table. Now men are walking away from the table, right? And they're scared. That's why they're stigmatizing being lonely.
Yeah, look how many of them tell us that not having children is a red flag to them.
Yeah,
it's because you haven't put yourself in a position where you can be subjected by them and the government, and they find that dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. Yep.
Or if you don't have a ring on your finger, that you're somehow worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Submit to
But
it.
that's another thing about this whole thing too. They want men to get married, right? Fine. But then, guys, I'm telling you guys, try this. Go into any setting they usually go into or whatever and wear like a fake wedding ring and see how the women treat you differently. They're such demons, guys, that if a guy announces that he's engaged or gets married, guys, they will be all over him. Think about how insane that is. When married men cheat, who do they cheat with? Women. Absolutely insane, man. I don't understand it. But guys, being alone should be your default setting. It should get to the point to where these women have to do a sales pitch to you and actually like sell you on being with them. 9 times out of 10, guys, they're gonna try and make a deal. We all know what happens with that.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
You just look at the date, like the dating events, like 90% of women, 10% men, all the time.
Or what is it? Dating
the speed dating events.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
It's crashing over here and it's crashing over China.
But if you do find yourself thinking that you're lonely, guys, you have too much time on your hands. Seriously.
Yeah.
There's hobbies. There's things you can go and do, guys, where you can actually, guys, our nature is to do things, right? We should be doing things. Even if it's something like playing video games, reading, fixing stuff around your house, talking to your friends, there's something that you can do. So the only time where you should be sitting in one spot is if you're, not focusing on anything, is if you're dropping a deuce or if you're asleep. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you should be out doing stuff, doing things, doing something that's productive, reading, writing, doing something,
Yeah.
But now these young guys, they don't have hobbies, they don't do anything, so they're lonely, and they basically act like chicks, and that's what I think that's what leads them down the whole incel thing is they just start to complain like women,
I have another quick take on it. It's maybe a different perspective. Like, it's okay to be a little bit lonely. Like, that's a little bit of a part of life. So a little bit of it is fine.
Guys, I have
and
background
who is not
noise
lonely?
or someone's like building a house over there. Whoever it is, can you mute for now? I don't know who it is.
I was going to say, who is not lonely? Yeah. Sheep in the herd. So sometimes when you're on your own and in solitude and whatnot, that's how you consolidate yourself as a man and think about, what you believe in, what you value, and kind of, get your mind right. And that's why women aren't doing it and can't be alone, because they need the stimulation, the distraction, the validation, the attention, and on and on and on with it. They are not just can't just be in peace with their environments, their surrounding, and within their own mind. So to be kind of live alone, some people don't like it because they can't handle it too. There is a little bit of a discipline to being alone and kind of being your own best friend and all that. I think that's why they're saying older guys like it, because I've lived alone most of my life. And when I was younger, a lot of other people think it's weird. They're like, well, you should be living with other people. They acted like it's unhealthy, but I think that's just because they can't see themselves doing it. and women cannot see themselves doing this at all. And they also might not really be built that way too.
Yeah.
They're not.
It's not
Women aren't built
toxic.
that way.
It's actually like healing in a way.
Yeah. Women aren't built that way because it's a survival mechanism for them, to be around others for protection, But I can say this: I'm like you, snowboarder. I've lived alone most of my life. 5 years of my life, I lived with a woman, and that was the worst 5 years of my damn life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute worst.
Oh my
It's crazy, man. Yeah. And now more and more young guys are just not having it anymore. And guys, I tell you, this is why I'm uncharacteristically optimistic. Guys, you see young guys, Gen Z men are dealing with these 304s less. They're more conservative, right? They're not falling for this mess anymore. There's not. Now millennials are cooked. You know what I mean? Like the majority of millennial men are ethnists. Come on, man, right?
Yeah.
It's like 55%
millennials are
or
shot.
60%, man, believe in all this feminist stuff. Oh, come on, dude.
Beta male.
What are you thinking? But Gen Z guys, man, they're getting more and more out of the foolishness, and all it is just being left alone. And guys, think of the entitlement. We'll end it here. You guys know what pisses me off more than anything else? Men need to watch what they say about women when there's no women around. What are you talking? Why? There's no women around. That's thought policing. That's thought crime.
Yeah.
What? You're so entitled that you are assuming that people are talking about you when you're not guys. And this goes for any group. I guarantee I have white friends, Hispanic friends, Asian friends that drop the N-bomb in their house. I don't care. I'm not there. What does it matter?
Right.
What does it matter to me? I don't care. But not even freedom of speech. It's none of my business.
Yeah.
I don't care. To care about, because we can even say, but women talk about us men when we're not around. Who cares? Who cares?
I don't care. Yeah.
Who cares? But the thought police people and say, well, when we're not around, you can't say this about us. That's insane. And that's what leads back to this loneliness epidemic stuff, is they're trying to scapegoat men by saying, if they're out there, we don't know what they're doing. They must be a bunch of scallywags and ne'er-do-wells. They must be up to no good. The hubris to think that men are choosing to divorce themselves from women just so they can plan to come back and do bad things. We don't want to be around you.
Yeah. They think it's all like Ted K, the Unabomb dude. They think everyone is like that archetype. And it's like, no, we just might be left to our own devices and just fine with that.
But they're just projecting because they know that's what they'll do.
R.I.P. to James Baldwin, but he said it best. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. And women love pointing a finger at us and telling us we're lonely. Meanwhile, they're having all these singles events trying to get men to show up. Well, if the men are so lonely, like I said earlier, why aren't we showing up? If loneliness is such a horrible epidemic that's plaguing us, why aren't we going to their singles events where there's all these women there looking for boyfriends?
Desperate, too.
We would be lining up. We would be fighting each other to buy tickets.
Yeah, it's really women probably projecting the problem onto men that they're
it's 100% projection. 100%
because
projection.
They're getting all this validation of like they're never going to be satisfied, so they're actually lonely in their own mind.
Yeah, it's not only do they need the validation and attention from men, they're finding out that men have careers, they have jobs, and jobs don't pay bills, careers do.
Yeah. But also men only get lonely when there's no one around. These chicks are lonely with all these knuckleheaded hating 304s that they call friends. Think about how insane that is. You have a social life that you go out isn't time and effort and money on with your friends, these happy hours, and you're still lonely. Yeah. So guys, look at this.
Girls can't catch. I would throw, but girls can't catch. What? Why?
Girls can't catch.
All right, prove it right now. Go right there. What the f was that? Nice
He
catch,
bombed
girls.
it way over her.
Nah, she could have ran back. Well, I could have ran back and jumped and caught it. I mean, come on.
Easy range, man. Nice catch there. You should have caught the ball. You should jump for the ball. It's an easy catch. I bet. Are you gonna catch it, or are you gonna let it go over your head?
20 feet over.
You said girls can catch. Why do you say that? I am what I get. Yeah, I am what I get. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Are you saying that I'm? Oh, she supports it, but she's making fun of it. Wow. You have a girlfriend? Hey, yo. Girls can't catch. I would throw, but
Oh my God, she's a real bundle of joy.
Yeah, notice how they're all so eager to put their hand up like that to hit a man because they know that they can get away with it. But I guarantee you, if they were to ever get clocked like once or twice, they'd never do it again.
Look at this, guys. Look at this. So this guy here, he's an MMA fighter. He's a UFC guy, and like UFC guys don't get paid a lot when they're starting out, right? But guys, so watch. He's gonna say like, what? So everyone thinks he's rich because he's on television. So all of his African family members were all trying to ask him for money. He's like, guys, I ain't got money like that. So they were cheering. He lost his last fight. Watch.
My cousins were celebrating my loss. They were all celebrating my loss. And he sent me a video of them in a place where we were 15 years ago. This small circle in Danun, where it's a slum. Like when you call it, it's like a slum. Where I first arrived when I went in South Africa, I was living in this place called Danun. And these cousins of mine were celebrating my loss. And do you know how much that eats you? Yeah. Because all I try to do is better for everybody. And I might not directly help you, but like maybe I build a well for the community. And then one person gets angry that why did you build the well? It's closer to this guy's house, not that person's house. And then they start creating all these type of problems. And then people start feeling entitled. That like someone will message and say, "Can you give me 5,000?" Where will I get? People think that I'm in the UFC, I'm a millionaire. I'm not. Maybe one day I will be. Some of my cousins.
And you wonder why guys want to be left the hell alone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I said once, I said it again. Never negotiate with terrorists. Women are terrorists.
AJ, so this is the black tax you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The black tax is a terrorist tax.
Yep.
Nothing is ever enough for them.
Yeah.
Master P had to fire his own uncle.
Yep. Yeah.
She smiles and mouths "I love you" to her family in court. 24-year-old Shayna Hubers strokes and teases her long hair during breaks. No one would think she's on trial for allegedly shooting her boyfriend dead in a jealous rage.
I got up off the floor and I grabbed the gun and I shot him.
Hubers shot 29-year-old attorney Ryan Poston in the face just hours before he was to go on a date with a Miss USA pageant contestant.
Damn, she was upset, guys. You see
that?
Damn. You see that?
Damn.
You see
Yeah,
that,
there's no way
guys?
she's getting them back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hubris of this bitch.
Dude, look at that.
Yeah, he leveled up like a mofo.
Come on, guys.
She was Miss Ohio, Audrey
How you
Bolton.
doing? Look at this chick.
Yeah.
Man. Shit, man. Look at that,
leveled
man.
up.
Look at
Oh, hi ho. Who you dating?
Look at that, dude. Look at this chick, right there.
Baby, I'm on a butter your.
Wrong one. Where are we?
she's like all these babes. You get their pilot lit, they can suck start a leaf blower.
She met Ryan Poston on Facebook. They made a date, but while she was waiting for him in a bar, Shayna Hubers shot him at his apartment 6 times.
Damn.
She claims it was self-defense, but prosecutors say she lashed out because he was breaking up with her.
When I first shot him, he let out a really loud noise that sounded like an animal. It was a very
because you shot him in the face.
Yeah.
You moron.
She's a hola.
animalistic noise that scared me. It freaked me out.
And because you didn't want to watch him die,
You shot him more times to the point where you knew he was dead.
Damn.
I said those things.
She smiles and
Yeah, guys, I got to do a 3NN News on this. But all right, so you guys, I'm shut this bad boy down, guys. Thanks for being here on a Friday, man. Let's see how many likes.
Thank you,
guys.
I
Once again,
really
guys.
enjoyed.
Once again, guys, the best part about this space, I would actually say the best part about the Red Pill guys is we have guys that are, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all sharing information with each other, and younger guys too. That's why we're always gonna win. Always.
Yeah.
Always. Guys, you see 40, 50, 60-year-old chicks, they're trying to compete with younger chicks. You know what I'm saying? As I am not competing with no 20-year-old. Period. I'm not.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it was like a mother and her daughter, and they were both in like bra and panties trying to take sexy pictures. The mother was in she had to be like late 50s, early 60s. It looked like she's trying to compete for the same men with her daughter. I'm like, I almost vomited when I seen the picture. Like, nobody wants to see a 60-year-old woman in bra and panties.
Yeah.
Get dressed, grandma.
Yeah, I know, right? Even like 45, 50-year-old chicks, they're supposed to be grandmas by now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, they're supposed to be baking cookies, not yeast infections.
Elmer's blue smash.
Looking like freaking grilled cheese down there. But all right, you guys.
Oh man,
you go, guys. We will be live at 10, guys. 51304 is Relax Live, guys. More you guys, man, call in. You know what I'm saying? Because guys, I noticed the last couple weeks we have more and more guys calling in. 51304, guys, is more. Like I said, let's find all these clips, and plus all the ones you guys share too. So yeah, guys, we have a lot of fun, guys. Sunday we will be live. What's the topic? I'll let you guys know what the topic is. You know what? You know what we can do? All right, guys. Here, I want you guys to all think. Okay, what race of women do you think is the most delusional? Right? Because guys, we talk about B-dubs, right? But guys, I've been thinking about a couple of things, right? Because you have a lot of Indian girls who are very successful, but then they have a trick where they can marry successful guys, but then you have the Indian girls and the Asian girls that are acting like white and black chicks, and they expect to friggin' still be the same. We got the B-dubs, we got the white girls, or whatever. So let's talk about what race of woman is the most delusional and the worst to date.
Yeah, white women can be pretty delusional for sure.
But see, white women can still get husbands.
Yeah.
Asian women that act like B-dubs can still get husbands. The only ones who can't get husbands are B-dubs.
Yeah,
no, man, no. You guys got it all wrong, man. I'm gonna straight up tell you, it's gonna be the Chinese and the Korean 4B movement girls. These are broads who they expect $100,000 gift, or they call it what do they call it?
A bride price. Yeah. Dowry.
You know what? I stand corrected. Yeah, the Chinese women in China, they are worse than the B-dubs in America.
Which is sad. That's so sad. They used to be the best.
Well, guys, obviously, this is a good conversation. Yeah. So, guys, let's have that on Sunday. I want to have a big panel, guys. So I have the link in the Discord, but we can do like the first 45 minutes for everyone who wants to join the panel early. Yeah, guys, we should have the conversation.
And we could do something since it's like Mother's Day, sing Happy Single Mother's Day or something that.
Wait a minute. No. Hold on. That was it, guys. We're going to talk about single moms on Sunday. That's right.
It's Mother's Day. We got to do something.
It's Mother's Day. And I have to do my Mother's Day special of single moms crying on TikTok.
That are fake, yeah.
Guys, thank you for reminding me. Single Moms Day.
Just spite them, we should call it Happy Absent Father Day.
No, because then that acts like we're actually saying that it's the men's fault.
Right.
We should call it Happy Bastard Children Day or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll think it's. But I'm saying I think it should be a theme of that because it's on the day of it, so might as well.
Happy Deadbeat Moms Day. How about that?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Let's do that. So, but all right, you guys, 9:00 on Sunday, guys. We'll be that. And then tonight at 10 on 50 and 304s. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.